What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
We've been having a conversation about an article that came through the Indianapolis Star here last week.
Hitch up. That was Doug that said that.
Regarding the Indiana Economic Development Corp funding of through an organization called Elevate that actually funds small, medium startup businesses, and it's some capital investment for tech companies. And they actually hired Elevate to be able to vet these companies out because the government wasn't doing a substantial job in that. So.
And we should say that it's expanding. So for listeners out there that are listening, IEDC and Elevate are actually, they have a minority program right now that they're trying to invest in minority. And you don't even have to be a tech company. You can be a service-oriented company that's looking for startup funding. So this is really, for all listeners, this is, hey, where is my taxpayer money going, and how is my community getting helped by this? And it's everywhere from northern Indiana. I was reading Elevate Ventures has gotten local communities in northern Indiana to commit $2.2 million in private money to help.
That's not
local
taxpayer money.
Exactly, that's private money. And then Southwest, $300K to get some full-time Elevate resources in the area.
Fantastic.
And Elevate has these connections internationally and nationally, with venture capital firms and technology firms and everything else. They've got their hands on the pulse of where technology needs to be going. So it was a brilliant thing, in my opinion, for IEDC to basically say, okay, we've got this amazing investment resource here in town. How can we latch on to them and, of course, pay for it? But how can we get them to help steer the direction of the investment community, steer the direction of the technology company, and grow this incredible, if you're talking about, let's see what's doing better. Is the local technology scene doing better, or is the local newspaper scene doing better? Campbell, the reporter here, he makes a big deal that, Elevate, the CEO makes $400,000 a year. Well, Campbell, your Gannett chairman, makes $4.6 million a year on a losing enterprise. Elevate is growing companies. So I really have a problem with this hit job. It's a terrible, it's yellow journalism, in my opinion, and it's not doing our. We really struggle as a community right now to get technology off the ground. We have winners like a Primo and ExactTarget and Cha-Cha Angie's List, but we have an entire second and tertiary layer of companies out there that are sprouting. We can talk about some of them, Compendium and Tinderbox and MaxTrade and Smarter Remarketer. Cha-Cha's launched Social Reactor, Right on Interactive. We have Delivera, who's been out there for a long time. We have all of these, great companies that are sprouting. You can go to a Verge event here locally if you want to look that up. And you're going to find tons of companies, Developer Town, Sproutbox down out of, This is where the jobs are at.
There's innovation that's happening all around us.
Innovation, high-paid jobs, technology is absolutely the future. This knowledge-based economy that we're in, and so for a journalist, I'm not upset with his accusation. I'm upset that he didn't take the time to tell the other side of the story. I'm upset that he didn't take the time to talk about the winners here, the number of employees hired, the profitability. If you go to the Elevate Ventures site, you can download the information. They have it there. Based on 38 economic companies surveyed, revenue grew from $107 million in 2011 to $133 million in 2012, and it's expected to grow to $172 million in 2013. That's a 27% average annual growth rate, and that's jobs from 747 in 2011 to 936 in 2012, and it's expected to grow to over 1,100 in 2013. 22.5% growth per year in high-tech, high-paid jobs. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis Star just made another round of layoffs. So who do I trust with my money? Who do I trust with the story here?
You know, the article also mentioned that, keep those stats in mind, because they also mentioned that they were distributing fewer dollars. So get this right, is that previous to Elevate, they were actually spending, they distributed $29.3 million, the state did, with under Elevate's guidance.
Yeah.
They actually distributed around $19.9 million to various companies to date. That's whenever Elevate took over in April 11th.
Right.
So are you telling me they're actually better stewards of the money, and on top of that, they're kicking the jobs up because of their stewardship of those investments? I'm thinking that there's a parallel here.
You're absolutely right. And not only that, it's important to keep in mind that the investment is public-private, right? Mm-hmm. And when they first started, it was 1.2 private dollars per $1 of public dollar. You know what that's up over now?
Yep.
It's 5 to 1 now. They have grown private funding of these companies by 400%. They are paving the way for jobs and high-paid jobs here in the area, and they're paving the way for these companies to be successful and to compete with these other industries. You know, Michigan has a public-private partnership just like this,
right?
And they were kicking our butts. And so now we're coming back. You know, Boston has it. Every major, city that's going after tech, does this types of thing. So we finally are starting to compete. We're finally starting to go the right direction. And now we have a local newspaper who should be cheering on the growth, the employment, the tax base, everything else. And instead, they're tying a noose around its neck. It's unfortunate.
You know, and to Doug's point earlier, the investment landscape is changing in the state. Investment in life sciences has dropped, and I think the state recognizes that the future isn't big box retail and warehouses. Technology is a growth sector in the state, and to your point, Aaron, when you talk about more careful investment, part of the reason why this partnership was created was because the state wasn't doing, the best job at vetting the so-called investments. And what that led to is,
taxpayer money lost,
job goals that weren't met. And then the state is faced with a terrible problem of how to claw back that money that's already been spent.
Yeah, so in years past, they didn't. They weren't able to recoup any of that. So with the new laws of transparency, like you were mentioning before, there's opportunity now for the state to be able to take care of that money, but they needed a steward to be able to help guide that correctly.
Yeah, right. And so, some of the good things, you have to say some of the good things that come out of this, right, are Governor Pence has ordered a review and ordered transparency involved. That's great. That's great. But it's still not going to stop what this reporter talks about, and that's these good old boy networks. That's all it is a good old boy network. It's the cream of the crop. It's the people with the funds that want to give it to the rest of these companies.
Right.
This is where we need to go. If you want to start a tech business here in town, good luck trying to go to the bank if you don't have millions of dollars, of your own. Good luck trying to go to a venture capital firm. You have to go to one of these public-private, entities, prove, that's the other good thing, is you have to prove your revenue model. You have to prove your books. You have to open up your doors. They have to review them, and then you can possibly get some money for growth. But you're not going to get it any other way right now.
And when you look at the bigger picture, look at companies like, I live in Zionsville, so look at Interactive Intelligence, a great success story. Look at a not so little company called Moby, based in Zionsville, just got mentioned in a Gartner report. Many people don't understand how significant that is, but that's really great news for Indiana.
Yeah, and it happens because of the relationships that these people have in the community. I'm going to, full disclosure, right? Ryan Feniger from Elevate Ventures has, called me a couple times. He spent, I don't know how many days with us. He reviewed our books, reviewed our accounting, looked at our business. He has given me incredible amounts of advice, and I didn't pay for that, right? I didn't pay for that. And that's what these guys do every single day. Every single day they're on the phone. They're trying to make this community win. They're not trying to feed their own pockets. It's just that they know more about this stuff than everybody else does, and we need to utilize those resources, not all of a sudden start attacking them. We have a hard enough time raising money in this area without attacking the very people that can help us the most.
And don't kneecap companies. Don't keep kneecapping an organization because you may not actually align yourself with politics or what have you. Allow a balanced approach of reviewing the performance of these organizations. You have to enter into journals.
There's
like
no
that.
reason why these companies can't be investing their money in overseas investments in other cities that have better tax rates, that have better everything. And if you keep hitting these guys over the head with this I don't know what the verb is, adjective reporting, they're going to just go elsewhere. They can go elsewhere and not get bothered like this.
We'll have our links on the site at edgeofthewebradio.com. You know what? You certainly want to check that out and voice your opinion on this. This is an open forum that we're going to open up comments on the site to give some feedback from our listeners. We want to hear what you have to say, so check this out.
You're listening to Edge of the Web Radio with Aaron Sparks. We're online with exclusive podcasts, the latest web news, and links at edgeofthewebradio.com.